Welcome, everyone, to Budweiser's weekday sports beat, along with IrishBreakdown.com. I am Vince D'Addario, that guy right over there. That's Jesse Stiers, and you are not hearing the dulcet tones of Sean Stiers this evening because you're going to have to wait 2 hours before you get to hear him, as he is on the call of the Notre Dame women's basketball contest as they face off against the Akron Zips of the MAC. And that
go
game,
Zips.
Yeah, go Zips. What? What?
I'm just kidding. It's just they're close to me. It was a joke.
Oh, that is true. That is the Akron Zips are close to you, but they have traveled to South Bend. Tip off at 7:00, which means pregame begins at 6:45 right here on WSBT. So you definitely want to tune into that. If you're listening to us further away than the airwaves of WSBT, you can also check it out on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, and you can listen to Sean Stiers have that call of the Fighting Irish against the Akron Zips. So again, that's tonight, 6:45 pregame, 7:00 tip. So you definitely want to check that out. It is Mailbag Wednesday, Jesse Stiers, and right now we have exactly 0 questions in the queue. So, people watching on YouTube, you want to make sure you get those questions up in the queue. Put a little MB or the little mailbox emoji in there, and you guys run the show. So, whatever questions you have, we will be answering them right here on the show. But before we get to that, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. It's a solid Wednesday. Got through the workday pretty quick. So that was nice.
Yeah, it's always
in my
good on a
household,
Wednesday.
it is Survivor night. We watch Survivor, and that new episodes come out every Wednesday. So big development in our house. That'll be something to look forward to this evening. But tomorrow is Thursday, my favorite day of the week because it's almost Friday, and then Friday I get paid, and then Saturday I'm going to the Notre Dame and Pitt game. So we're gearing up here for a nice weekend.
Nice. Very good. Is anything else taking you out to the Pittsburgh area besides the game?
No. Just trying to make it to a game every year. Couldn't make it before the wedding because of the wedding stuff. And so we were like, with the remaining games, I wanted to make it to one. And then I was like, oh, man, they're playing in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is closer than South Bend is. And I haven't been to a game inside the Steelers stadium. So it's kind of like a bucket list thing for me. I get to go watch Notre Dame, get to go to the Steelers stadium. So we bought tickets like 3 weeks ago before game day was announced, before this was, an official ranked matchup, before Pat Narduzzi started to do his typical, flapping of the jaw.
Yeah.
So just looking forward to it in general.
So let me ask you a question. Are you going to go and partake in some of the game day atmosphere, like the college game day atmosphere? Are you going to try to get there early? Are you going to try to kick a field goal, win a bunch of money?
So I don't think we'll be there that early. Game day starts from 9 to noon. I think we're going to leave around 6 or 7 a.m., hoping to get to the stadium. We got a parking spot, and it's like, I think it's like 3/4 of a mile away. So we're going to have to park, walk a little bit, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think by the time we do that, get on campus, it'll probably be between 9 and 10 a.m. Probably stop by game day for a little bit, make an appearance. Not like I'll be seen on TV or anything, but just stop by, partake in the shenanigans. We'll probably pack like a cooler with us to carry around.
There it is.
So yeah, we'll have a good time. We'll stay warm. What I'm most excited about, honestly, is the temperatures are rising, actually. It's going to be like 55 degrees and sunny at kickoff. So I'm just glad we're not going to sit out there and freeze.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us because I will also be at a game, not that game, but I will be at a game, and it's going to be like 60 degrees at kickoff. It's like, okay, let's roll here. 60 degrees, considering it was a freaking snowstorm a couple of days ago, and we had delayed starts and everything else with school. And then it's going to be 60 degrees on Saturday. Welcome to Northern Indiana, basically, is what that means. And everybody is seeing it out there. It's like 45 out here in the South Bend area right now, but it's sunny, so it feels a little nicer, and it's supposed to continue to warm up all the way through the weekend. So, we got that first snow, I guess, out of the way. Did you get a bunch of snow out where you are?
Not really. I mean, we got it definitely snowed, but nothing that really stuck. It was just kind of a
really
thing. Yeah, nothing really stuck. We weren't like accumulating inches or anything like that, but definitely got some snowfall.
You're out of the Lake Michigan lake effect that we get here. We had the heavy stuff, and it was probably 6-8 inches, I would say, kind of where we are. But it's all starting to melt away now that the sun has peaked out and is doing its thing. So should be good the rest of the week, and should be good for, like you said, kickoff at noon on Saturday out in Pittsburgh. It's going to be like 55 degrees. It's going to be like a heat wave. So that's pretty nice. So make sure you guys tune in for that. We do have a couple questions in the queue, so we'll just jump right in. We got a super chat here from Tyler Evans. He says, any upsets this week that you think will happen?
So let me pull up ESPN real quick and look at some of these top 25
There's a few top 10 matchups, top 15 matchups that are very interesting for this week.
I think Oklahoma plays someone, and I think, doesn't Georgia play someone?
Yes, they definitely do. Let's see if you can find it.
Sometimes the computer be going real slow. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you got obviously Notre Dame and Pitt. That's a ranked matchup. I think South Florida and Navy is an interesting matchup. Okay. Oklahoma and Alabama. So do we think Oklahoma is going to upset Alabama? And then Iowa and USC, 21 versus 17. Virginia and Duke. Duke's kind of sneaky. I can't remember who they upset recently. Florida and Ole Miss. There it is. Texas versus Georgia.
You found it. Yep.
So, do I think Texas goes on the road and beats Georgia? No, I do not. Do I think that Oklahoma goes on the road and beats Alabama? No, I do not. So, I don't know if I see, those are the upsets I'm looking at, like top 25 matchups between two ranked teams. And then do I think Iowa goes into USC and beats USC? I don't think that happens either. I think all these home ranked teams are going to win.
What about NC State, Miami? You think there's any chance that the Wolfpack can pick off the Hurricanes?
I mean, there's definitely a chance because NC State has upset a couple of teams already this season, right? They beat – who did they beat? They beat Georgia Tech, and they also beat Virginia. So, I think there's a good chance that they could get it done. It's crazy that that's another – Miami's at home. All of these underdogs are going on the road, which stinks because home field advantage is pretty crucial. I don't know. Out of those 4 games, Georgia and what was it, Oklahoma? Yeah. And then Texas. Out of those 4 games, what do you think has the biggest chance to be an upset?
I mean, if Texas can somehow figure out how to put it all together, I mean, there's a chance that they could upset Georgia. I am not calling for that particular upset. I think Georgia should win that game, especially, like you said, since it's at home. I think Iowa could upset USC. Now, if you're a Notre Dame fan, obviously you do not want that to happen because then USC could very well drop out of the top 25, and you don't want that to be the case since right now that is Notre Dame's best win. So you definitely don't want that to happen. I could definitely see NC State. If NC State brings their A game, they have a chance to upset Miami. Now, it's in Miami, as you mentioned. So I would say the best chance for an upset is either going to be NC State. And with the potential, and just because I am a bit of a Michigan hater, Michigan's on the road at Northwestern. Northwestern could jump up and bite someone here. They could play spoiler against the Wolverines, and that is the one underdog that is at home that I could see jumping up and making some noise. I could see Northwestern doing something here. That's what I'll be rooting for anyway. That's for sure, because it's always a good day if Michigan loses. But I think that's a definite possibility. And then the only other one that is a possibility, you got 6-3 Minnesota. They're going up against Oregon on Friday night.
I was going to say, that's a sneaky matchup.
That's a sneaky matchup. I agree. Again, they got to go all the way out to Oregon. So are they going to be able to travel successfully?
Oregon is playing off of that really, crappy physical game against Iowa. Now you got to play a short week, and that game's Friday night at 9 p.m. I think that game's going to be a lot closer. What's the spread? Wow. Oregon is favored by 25.5 points.
That's not going to happen.
There's no way.
There's no way. That's not going to. Yeah. Tune in tomorrow night for the spread option show. I guarantee you this game will be talked about. So
you already locking that one in?
I think that's going to be my underdog of the week right there. Like that's wow, 25.5.
It's craziness.
The Golden Gophers got to help me out on that one. That's a big number right there. That is a really, really big number. I don't think Wisconsin has a prayer of beating Indiana. Like that's not going to happen, especially in Bloomington. I mean, Wisconsin's a train wreck. What would you do with the 11.5 points that Michigan is giving to Northwestern?
I would take Northwestern. Northwestern has been playing a lot of close games themselves, and really have a better record than what I thought they would. Really they've lost to Nebraska, USC, Tulane, and Oregon. Tulane was the first game of the year, so I'll give him an excuse. Obviously, Oregon is ranked, USC is ranked. I think that's another game where I would feel comfortable kind of taking the spread, maybe bumping it up to like 14.5, 13.5, just to get those 2 touchdowns. But to answer this original question, I think the game that has the most upset alert is Texas at Georgia. I don't think Oklahoma is going to come close to Alabama. Like you were saying, I think if Texas puts it all together and we get the Arch Manning that we thought was going to be a Heisman contender, they still have a lot of talent on defense as well, which I think is impressive. I think that game is going to be pretty close, and I would not be surprised if Texas wins. But, Vince, let me ask you this. Isn't it kind of funny that schools like Oklahoma and Texas are complaining knowing that they have Georgia and Alabama this week? Like, if you win and take care of business, you'll probably leapfrog. And if you lose, then you're down to 3 losses, and there's really nothing to talk about anymore.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm with you. For all the whining and the gnashing of teeth when it comes to the rankings and everything else, like a lot of these teams have their destiny in their own hands.
Just play it out. Play the last 3 games.
Just play it out, man. Like that's going to be your best bet.
I think that's my number one pet peeve. Like, why do people blow a gasket every single week when you have, like you said, you're largely in control of your own destiny?
Exactly. 100%. So, and I think overall, like, you're going to see it's all going to make sense once all the games are played, at least all the regular season games. Because I know, the championship games and things like that they have for the conferences aren't supposed to matter quite as much according to the committee. We'll see how that plays out. But once all the games are played in the regular season, it's going to play itself out. There are so many big games between now and the end of the season, rivalry games and things like that are going to play it out. Things are going to just nestle right into place. And if there's upsets, then it throws things into a little bit of a tizzy, and that's okay too, because it will work itself out. Like that's the biggest thing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Notre Dame's place in the rankings and whether they should be there, whether they should not be there, things like that. We've got some other questions in the queue here that we can get to. How about, how about this one? Oh, go ahead.
Before we get there, Vince, how do you feel about the Michigan Wolverines playing inside Wrigley Stadium this weekend? Wrigley Field.
Well, first of all, I love the fact that Northwestern uses Wrigley as their home field every now and again. Like, I think that's pretty stinking cool, to be honest with you. And I know, like, their current home stadium is temporary because they've got a beautiful stadium that I believe is going to open for next season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It is freaking beautiful. And that's going to be one heck of a home field. I wonder if they're still going to do this Wrigley Field thing once they have that brand new stadium. That's the thing that I wonder about. But I don't know. Can the Wolverines pull it off in Wrigley?
I just didn't know if you thought Michigan deserved to be on that sacred field.
No, gosh, no. They don't deserve to be anywhere that I root for. Come on now.
I was trying to push your buttons and be like, really? Michigan is playing inside Wrigley?
I know it's fairly sacrilegious if we're being honest with each other. I'm trying to be as non-homerish as possible in this regard, but man, they don't deserve to be on the hallowed ground that is.
That's why they're going to lose.
That's right. You say it. Say it again. Say it again. All right, let's go towards a little bit of a Notre Dame angle here. Joe Allen says, "Do you think Notre Dame has a chance of making it up to the 6th seed?"
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, they have a chance. There's 3 weeks left in the regular season. There's still going to be conference championships. Really, what you need as Notre Dame is, there's the 3 undefeated teams at the top, and then from 4 all the way up until 8, you have a bunch of 1-loss teams. So, what does it look like if Alabama loses this weekend? Do Alabama and Oklahoma now stay in front of Notre Dame? If Texas beats Georgia, both of those teams have 2 losses. Do both of those teams stay in front of Notre Dame? I think what you want as a Notre Dame fan is you want teams like the likes of Oregon, Ole Miss, and Texas Tech to really start, getting some second losses underneath their belt. I think there's a chance, but I think there's a more realistic, that they top out at 7 or 8. I think it gets hard to get up to 6 because the teams that start losing in front of Notre Dame would be getting beat by teams behind Notre Dame. And so do those teams start to jump Notre Dame? You know what I mean? It's a really
if Texas and Oklahoma both
question.
win, if Texas and Oklahoma both win,
that's worst case.
They're going to leapfrog Notre Dame, and I don't think that Georgia and Alabama fall below Notre Dame.
No.
So, that's going to be a problem. You just bumped yourself out at that point. So you can't, if you're, let's see, I believe there is a question here from Joe. He says, okay, I need a guide. Who should we be rooting for as Irish fans? I think you have to root for the favorites in those 2 games because you want to also stop being bothered by Texas and Oklahoma.
You want to separate yourself from those teams behind you.
Get them back. You want them to fall even further. You're ahead of them for now, but I think you want them to fall back as far as possible. And losing this weekend would do that. I really do feel that way. Then now they're on the bubble as far as, well, does a 3-loss SEC team get in? And all of those kinds of questions that will inevitably pop up once we get to the end of the season. But you want to put some distance between yourself and those 2 teams.
I agree. And if Oklahoma and Texas both win this weekend, that's not a good situation for Notre Dame because Notre Dame would either become the last team in or the first team out. And honestly, I think they would become the first team out because you're sitting at 9. Texas and Oklahoma would jump you. So you would fall to 11, but then the ACC champ and the group of 5 champ would jump you. So Notre Dame would become the first team out if both Texas and Oklahoma win this weekend. That's not good.
So who else should Irish fans be rooting for? I think Irish fans have to be rooting for Northwestern. I think that's a solid one right there. I think Irish fans need to be rooting for Minnesota out at Oregon.
Yes, that's a big one.
That would be a big one because if Oregon loses again, especially to an unranked team at home, they're out. They're going to fall way back at that point. And then if that happens, if Oregon let's just play this out a little bit. If Oregon loses to Minnesota at home, the Big Ten is going to be looking square in the face of only having 2 teams in the playoff.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that going
because Penn State let you down so much.
Yep.
Michigan let you down. I think there could still be a chance for USC at the end of the day. they could sneak in. It just really depends on what happens. I think this weekend is going to drive a lot of the final playoff picture with Texas and Oklahoma playing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Against Alabama and Georgia. Those are huge games. But like if Oregon loses and Texas and Oklahoma wins, then that gets Notre Dame back into the playoff picture, in my opinion. So, if Texas and Oklahoma lose, the only teams that are knocking on your door behind you with 2 losses or 1 loss is like BYU, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Miami. I'm nowhere as concerned about those teams.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's definitely fair. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll have more when we come back on Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat with IrishBreakdown.com. We've got some more questions in the queue, and then, of course, we've got rapid fire at the top of the hour. So stick around. We'll talk to you after the break. Welcome, everyone, back to Weekday Sportsbeat, along with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Vince D'Addario. That's Jesse Stiers. And it is Mailbag Wednesday, and we have a bunch of comments and questions lined up. Jess, you ready to get back at it?
Better than when we started the show. We definitely have some more questions now, so I'm feeling a bit relieved.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Let's see. We'll just go kind of in order here for a minute. Tyler Evans, what has a higher chance? Oregon covering the 25 points or BK getting his $54 million buyout?
I think both, but if I had to pick, I'm going to go with I read that wrong. I'm going to say BK getting his 54 million. I don't think Oregon is going to cover that 25 points.
I don't either. But do you really think BK is going to get all that money?
How can't he? He was fired in a guaranteed contract. There's no causation that LSU claims.
There's also a morals clause in there that I think that they could get after, and that might. I'm just saying that from what I understand, that was what was put out there was like, hey, take a lower amount, or we're going to invoke the morals clause. And
like, what could he have done that was morally wrong? Though? Did he yell at someone? Did he?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what the scuttlebutt is. Now, I'm not down in Louisiana, so I don't know all the details. But I think I saw a tweet today that talked about skeletons in his closet that could come out here soon. So,
whoa.
Hey, he's not our problem anymore, but it's still fun to talk about. And it'll be interesting to see how this goes because I think he's suing like the state of Louisiana for the money. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I would say in this particular question, to your point, the chances of him getting his buyout are higher than Oregon covering 25 points. That is so many points for that matchup. That's just a lot of points, man.
Did you see Miami's favored by 14.5 over NC State?
Look, man, there are a bunch of spreads, and that is one of them that I'm like, really? Now,
I think TCU at BYU is another sneaky one. BYU's only favored by like 6 in that.
Yeah. There's a lot of very interesting spreads this week, which is going to make our spread option show at 8:00 tomorrow night over on CFB Nation channel. It's going to make it a very interesting show because there's a lot of very interesting lines that have come out. And that's not usually the case this late in the season because you kind of know who each team is by now, right? Like you don't really see lines like this late in the year. Like there's a lot of lines you can take advantage of at the beginning of the season. I just don't feel like that's usually the case in November, but man.
What do they know that we don't, Vince?
Well, that's a great point. There's some professional bettors out there that know a lot more than I do. That's for darn sure. All right. This question is really for you. And so I'm going to throw it up here from I Am Tenzin, Sung of Aang. He says, what's better, Survivor or Naked and Afraid?
So I have a funny story about Naked and Afraid. I don't think it's going to out anyone, but Naomi's father, so my father-in-law now, applied to be on Naked and Afraid and got accepted, but never actually followed through.
What?
Yeah. His wife was like, you're not leaving me to go be on Naked and Afraid. And so it never happened, but he did get the call back to be like cast on Naked and Afraid, which is funny to me. I'm Survivor. Like Naked and Afraid is just too much. Like who's just out in the middle of nowhere naked, you know? Yeah, like let's be a little bit more realistic here.
It just doesn't sound comfortable in any way, shape, or form. Like
and at least on Survivor, you're with other people and you're competing as tribes and winning challenges. Like that seems like more up my alley. So I'm actually, I'm going to start applying to Survivor here within the next probably 4 or 5 years.
See, Survivor doesn't do it for me. Now, my daughter and I watch Survivor pretty religiously, and so I'm in the same boat as you. We don't watch it live because she's a little younger, so we tape it and then we watch it. Look how old I am. I said we tape it. We record it and then we watch it later on. But I just don't know that I would not enjoy Survivor. I don't know that I would enjoy just like sleeping on the ground and being malnourished and all.
But Vince, you love money. You wouldn't do it for the money.
This is true. I do love money, but I also feel like I would be absolutely taken advantage of in the social game because I trust too many people. Like, that's my problem.
I feel like also you'd start playing, like, after day 10, you're hungry, you're irritable, you'd start playing hard, and they'd be like, we got to get rid of this grumpy guy.
Yeah, I would be. It wouldn't take till day 10 either. We're talking about maybe 48 hours of me having to sleep in a jungle where I would be very grumpy and no one would like me, and it would be very bad for me. But your dad and I have had serious discussions.
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
The Amazing Race?
Yes, we have had serious discussions about that one. Like the radio duo or whatever, they all have like...
Everyone's got a little, father-daughter.
Exactly. Yes, we have had serious discussions about making that happen.
You guys would be good at it. You're both very cultured people.
I think it would be fun. I think we, and there would definitely be an episode where we're just fighting like cats and dogs too, which would be, I see that being must-see TV, if you will. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think that would be fun. All right, let's see what else we got here. We did get a super chat here from Charlie Weiss's last belt loop, kind of talking about.
Man, I haven't seen him in a long time.
Well, he picks his moments. Thanks for the super chat, Charlie. Appreciate you very much. He says BK Howard was hired to coach. They don't care if he's faithful to his wife.
Whoa.
The morality clause is usually if he committed a crime or abused a player, etc.
I'm not trying to dig into what Brian Kelly has and hasn't done with his wife or without his wife, but because it's a $5 super chat, I agree though. That's not what you do in like morality wouldn't apply if that's what he really did, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I don't disagree with you. I don't know. Like I said, I just saw that people were talking about that. I don't know what would constitute, in this case, the morality clause that they're talking about invoking, because they're not going to invoke it unless there's something that he did.
I mean, didn't Ed Orgeron bring like all of his girlfriends to practice and stuff? Like,
I mean, he's a player. Don't hate the player, hate the game, man. All right. We got a Cubs question from IM Tenzin. Cubs winning the World Series next year? ?
No, but they might get closer depending on if they spend some money this offseason.
They've got some holes to fill. Clearly starting pitching is an issue currently. Do you think they're going to have, like, where are the holes? Tell me what the holes are.
Starting pitcher. I think that they want another outfielder.
Okay.
Because Tucker's going to be gone, and they want Suzuki really to just DH. I don't know how Happ won another Gold Glove in left field, but he did. You've got Happ in left, PCA in center. I think they want to find an everyday outfielder for right field. I think they want a third baseman. I think Shaw is taking longer than expected. You'll get Amaya back at catcher, which will be huge. I think you're good, obviously, at second, short, and first. And then, you need a starting pitcher. And then I don't know if you saw this as well, but there's a chance Shota might not be back next year if he declines his option and they can't get a deal done. So
he did decline his option.
That
happened.
So they got to get a deal done with Shota. You'll get Justin Steele back. You have Cade Horton.
Hopefully.
I think you got to add a starting pitcher, an outfielder, and a third baseman.
So you're not ready to hand the reins over to Shaw, huh?
He needs to slug more. They need a true slug guy in their lineup, like a Vlad Jr., just a guy that can like come up and just hit a home run, maybe. Like I think Kyle Tucker might be there when he's healthy, but he's not a true slug guy. I think they need a slug batter in there, and usually you get that out of your corner infielders.
That's fair. Bush is kind of turning into that guy. Like I'm okay with Bush at first. He's been actually a bit of a revelation.
He's the biggest payoff that like they got him for dirt cheap, and he's turned into one of the best first basemen in the league.
And he didn't even play first base. Like they had to teach him how to play first base.
Right.
Like that wasn't even his position. So that agree. Now Brando says, what free agent third baseman is out there that does all that?
That's right. I don't know.
You're gonna have to make a trade potentially.
Right. And I think
what you
that's
want.
where they'll start. They got a lot of minor league prospects that they could package up. But the thing is they didn't want to do it at the trade deadline. So what makes them want to do it this offseason now?
Yeah, and they have not been known to be super active in the offseason under the Ricketts family, to be honest with you. At least not as of recently. I'm sure.
I expect that they will only spend their money in pitching this offseason.
Yeah. So who's your third outfielder? If they don't do that, that's the question, right?
I don't know.
Are they going to bring somebody up from the farm? I mean,
you could stick Owen Casey out there, maybe.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I think they want to count on Shaw and one of their prospects for outfield and then spend their money on the pitching.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Because Casey did well when he came up in the brief amount of time that he was here. I mean, I guess you give him a full season, you see what happens. It'd be a rookie. It's putting a lot on a rookie. But
I like my guy too. I call him Mo Baller. Moises Bastianos.
Oh, yeah, he's a big boy.
He's losing weight though.
Okay.
I follow him on Instagram.
He looks more like an offensive guard than he does a baseball player. Just saying.
But he's been taking all these pictures of him like working out every day. So I think he's taking it pretty seriously.
Well, it's about time.
I mean, you're a professional athlete. So
now he can hit. There's no doubt about that. But can he play the field? That's the question.
Right. So, he's like a DH, maybe catcher guy, but
yeah,
they got a catcher.
And they have a DH. So
I don't think he gets traded.
Does he want to be a DH? That's the thing. I don't think he wants to.
I don't think he wants to be a DH. That young, why would you want to be put into that pigeonholed into just being a DH?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's your Cubs talk for the day. We'll see if any other questions come up about the old Cubbies, the old Northsiders, whose home is being used by Northwestern this weekend, and that other team that plays in Michigan.
That other team.
All right. I am Tenzin says, what's better, midweek Maction or weekday Conference USA?
I have to go midweek Maction.
Absolutely.
I went to a Mac school. My good friend coaches at a Mac school. I just think like Maction is Maction. Like who do you, I don't see a clever name for weekday Conference USA, but I do see some freaking Maction. So I'm about that action. Give me the Maction.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You really never know what you're going to get from Maction, which is also freaking fantastic.
Can we appreciate that there is Maction? Because people like me need something to wager on during the week.
Speaking of professional gamblers, Jesse Stiers, it's underneath his nameplate at the office.
Should I add that one?
I think you should. But yeah, the Maction is fun, man. There's a lot going on. And the Maction, to be honest with you, the Maction is like the minor leagues for D1. There's some really good players that play in the MAC who went kind of undiscovered in the recruiting coming out of high school. And D1s are I shouldn't say D1s. Power fours are constantly plucking guys from the MAC. So you can watch some decent football when you watch MAC. I'm just saying. All right. I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, we will finish off the Wednesday mailbag. The Wednesday mailbag. Get us to the top of the hour. And then we will start to hit some rapid fire and maybe a few more questions if we have time. But we'll be right back on Budweiser's weekday sports beat with IrishBreakdown.com. Welcome back to Weekday Sports Beat along with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Vince, that's Jesse, and it is Wednesday Mailbag Day. And so we've got a few more questions that we want to roll through. And let's see if we can get some of these accomplished here. Make sure we kind of get everybody, taken care of. Let's start with USMA 87. Was Narduzzi trying to do a double head fake? Say the Notre Dame game doesn't matter to get the Notre Dame players to let down their focus.
Vince, I don't know what his overall goal was because that stuff travels, right? Like your players are going to hear that stuff. So there's got to be an underlying, reason, mission. I don't know what you want to call it, but he's trying to play. I feel like he thinks he's playing chess when he's actually playing checkers.
He can barely get past checkers, that guy.
So I don't know what he's trying to do, but there's got to be a root to it. There's got to be, like, he's not just doing this to do this. At least I hope, but I don't know what it is at the end of the day, I guess is what I'm also going to admit. I think he's doing something. I just don't know what it is.
Well, and Chief Brody says Narduzzi was just trying to say that Notre Dame not being a conference makes playing them irrelevant. Well, it's not irrelevant. And
you also can't go up there and say publicly, I don't care if we lose to the number 9 team in the country at home. Like, whoever would say that.
Right, exactly.
Regardless of what conference they're in. You're telling me if Georgia comes to town, you don't care because they're in the SEC? No, that's an opportunity to beat a top 10 team at your home stadium.
Exactly. And I guarantee you the athletic director doesn't think that it's irrelevant when he's counting the money that he's bringing in, because Jesse Stiers isn't going to a Pitt game out in Pitt if Notre Dame's not playing there. So, like, you're making money on this thing. You're making a lot of money on this thing. And the fact that he would say that it's irrelevant makes him irrelevant, in my opinion.
And honestly, if he beat Notre Dame when they were ranked number 9, you know where he'd put that? At the top of his dang resume.
Exactly. 100%. Oh, actually, I think I wrote it down here. Yep, the last 4 times that Pitt has played Notre Dame, you know what the total score is? Because he said, something along the lines of he doesn't care if they get beat 110.
Yeah, that was the combined score of their last 2 games.
Yeah, 164-54. That's the last 4 games that Pitt has played against Notre Dame. So he's just expecting to get his tail whipped again, because that's probably what is about to happen, unfortunately for him. So, hopefully Pat can prevent Notre Dame from putting up a 40 or a 50 burger on him, because that is pretty much what he's staring at right into his face. So just not a very.
There's a possibility that he's playing it up, so if they do lose bad, it's not that big of a letdown, or it's like, I kind of told you this was coming.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, absolutely, because he hasn't had any success against Notre Dame recently. So why should he expect to have success now? You know what I mean? So, whatever. All right, let's move forward here a little bit. A quick one here from Mark. He says, Vince, did you have to deal with any unruly Penn students after their big win against Crown Point to win the sectional championship? No, I did not, because I was not in attendance, because I was on a plane back from Dallas from a conference that I was at. And we actually flew over the stadium as the game was going on. I got a great shot in the dark of, Penn and Crown Point playing each other. But no, I was not in attendance, but I will be this weekend when they take on, wait for it, Jesse, Fort Wayne Carroll.
Ooh, in regionals, huh?
Yeah, regional championship at Penn. So
those are some scars.
That's all I can ever think about when I think of Fort Wayne Carroll. Like, that will always be what I think about. 2012 sectional championship.
You mean that hardware that should be sitting inside Adams High School?
Yeah, that's the one.
Our only hardware that we ever could have gotten.
Yes, because that would have been the only sectional championship in Adams football history. Yes.
History.
Yes.
And if it wasn't history, it was at least 60, 70 years.
I'm pretty sure it was in history, because I remember that being the talk prior to that game. So anyway,
let's move on.
So I'm really hoping the Penn can take care of business, because I just dislike Fort Wayne Carroll in so many ways, and that's why. All right, USM 87. Can you see a world where there are 0 ACC teams in the college football playoff. The rule reads 5 highest ranked conference champion. No mention of Power 4 Group of 5.
No, that the ACC champ will get in.
What if it's like Duke?
I think the ACC conference champ will get in no matter of record.
So even if they're not even ranked at all?
I know you're playing devil's advocate, but yes.
Yes, I am. A lot of things have to happen for Duke.
I think let's just put it like this. A 2-loss ACC champ gets in. A 3-loss ACC champ gets in. A 4-loss is where it kind of becomes dicey.
Sure.
If that happens.
Yeah. Right. Like I said, they're going to have to feed off of, a feeding frenzy off of each other. And for that to be the case. But yes, I also agree. I don't see a world. Now, could I come up with a
super hypothetical?
Yes, 100%. But I don't see that being a realistic hypothetical.
I just don't even see how that's possible because there's 3 games remaining and you have a lot of ACC teams with like 1 or 2 losses. So it's like, unless they all freaking tank.
Because there's 5, I believe there's 5 ACC teams with 1 loss.
Yes.
And Duke is one
conference loss at least.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Yes. With 1 conference loss. There are certain teams that aren't going to lose those games. And so it's going to be, let's just put it this way. The ACC is staring right in the face 1 bid for sure.
They're not getting 2.
I think the odds of them having 0 are higher than them having 2.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, the ACC is struggling right now. So, and the Big 12 last week thought they were getting 3 in, and now they're staring right in the face of potentially 1. So, it's not good. It's not good for those 2 particular conferences. But we'll have to, again, let it play out. We'll see how it goes. All right. How about this one? I don't know how much you studied Pitt at this point in the week, but Radar 32700 wants to know, what is the biggest issue for the Irish against Pitt?
I think what the biggest issue is going to be is I think Narduzzi is a defensive-minded coach. Not that has, bode well for him in previous matchups, but I do think this team is a bit better skill-wise. I would get worried if Pitt loads the box and starts blitzing like madmen and just really giving CJ Carr like no time at all, right? Like he's just got guys in his face. They're shutting down the run, that sort of situation, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to load the box. They're going to try to stop the run. They're going to play man on the backside, and I think they're going to get creative with their pressures. And so do they get so creative that CJ Carr starts turning the ball over? That's where I think the issues are.
That's what they're hoping for,
right?
Obviously, yeah.
That's where I think that's what could become the biggest issue, in my opinion, is if the run game isn't going anywhere and CJ Carr starts forcing the ball.
So Pitt's best attribute is their run defense, right? And Joe Allen in the chat is absolutely correct. All the national talking heads are saying that Notre Dame won't be able to run the ball. I would say, let's look at the last 2 weeks where Boston College and Navy both loaded the box. We're talking 7, 8 guys in the box. And then they played man-to-man on the backside, on the back end. And how'd that work out for them? Number one, Notre Dame was still able to run the football. Now, at times they weren't. But overall, when you look back at the game, they were able to run the football. And CJ Carr is making really good decisions right now. And his wide receivers are doing what they need to do to get open. And he's finding them. To your point, I do believe that if they can't run the football and CJ Carr starts to press, yes, then you are going to be in trouble. I just don't see both of those things happening. I could see one of those things happening. I don't see both of those things happening.
Yeah. I think tomorrow's an important show to tune into because there's going to be some whiteboard on stuff like this.
Oh, is there now?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you got that memo via my pigeon I sent you earlier.
I think it's still across the state lines, but that's okay. No, that's all good. Because on tomorrow's show, we will have some comments from Marcus Freeman from his Zoom press conference that he is going to have. I believe that's at noon. And so we'll have some comments from that. And apparently we're also going to have some whiteboards. So bring it on. Rock and roll, baby.
Vince is like, I'm set. Not much more for me to do tomorrow.
Love it. Let's go. Let's go. And we'll also have rapid fire, which will, that's kind of a TBA. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Let's see if we got a couple more starred up questions. Here's one from Chief Brody. Chances Miami creeps up on Notre Dame. Texas, Oklahoma, Vandy all have some big games coming up. Same with BYU. Hate for that head-to-head to get us passed up.
I think at this point, unless Notre Dame just starts playing some sloppy games, I think a win over Pitt, no matter what, since they're ranked, is going to look good.
Sure.
Obviously, you want to blow them out. But if you get into some sloppy games against, Stanford and Syracuse, I believe, are the other two remaining opponents, and you're sneaking out wins and Miami starts to really look like world beaters and beating people by 30, I think that's where it might come into play. But the committee has already put their foot down that right now today, there's nothing that Miami can do if both teams win out to jump Notre Dame.
I agree. Yeah,
unless they go to a conference championship, win the ACC, then potentially you could maybe make a case for them to jump. But right now today, if the season ended, Notre Dame would be ahead of Miami. So unless Notre Dame just completely starts, nose diving, lose a game or win some really, really ugly games, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that the committee has made it very clear how they feel about the head-to-head of Miami and Notre Dame. And they also, Miami's lost 2 of their last 3. And
some crappy teams.
When you lose in November, that's not a good look. And so right now you have the appearance of one team going one direction, one team going another direction. Now, Miami has NC State this week. Then they have Virginia Tech. And then they have Pitt on the last week of the season. And so I think that game is going to be pretty pivotal as well, that Pitt-Miami game that's going to be played on the 29th of November. So keep your eye out for that. Now, Chief, you're exactly correct. Texas, OU, Vandy, they all have big games. Are they all going to win all of those games? I don't think so. But if they do, yeah, you're going to have a conversation about who is going to get in at that point. I absolutely agree with that. But I believe that is also worst case scenario. You know what I mean? Like that is, at this point, the sky is falling scenario is if all of those teams win all of their big games and Miami and Notre Dame all win out. You know what I mean? Like it's worst case. That's worst case. I don't see that happening. Is it possible? Is it plausible? Yeah, I guess so. But we'll see how it goes. Last 2 here before we get to the top of the hour break. Chief Brody's got another one. He goes, what do you guys do during your break?
Most of the time I put myself on mute. I turn my camera off just in case. We come back and you see a quick, a hot mic or a hot video camera of myself. But most of the time I'm either on my phone or I'm running to the bathroom or running to get a glass of water.
Yep. A little refill action. Yep. Sometimes I go up and if I've got something to say to the kids, I do that. Or a lot of times I just watch like
keep it down up there.
Yeah, pretty much. Or I just watch like a show on one of the streaming services while during break. I'll get like 4 minutes in, you know what I mean? And then to come back and let's do the show. So yeah, it varies. It definitely varies for sure.
I'm usually on Instagram just watching stupid videos.
There you go. Finally, from Robert Grant, guys, are you hearing anything on USC and Michigan possibly going independent?
I haven't seen it, but everyone now thinks that independent is in fashion because that's what gets you the easiest path to the college football playoff. And
you're right.
Everyone should just go independent because Notre Dame does it, and they're just getting a free pass to the college football playoff. That's what everyone just thinks is you just get this free pass and you don't play anyone, and you get to make this super easy schedule and, da-di-da-di-da. It's just not the case. I've just seen that of the big brands, Michigan and USC might have the most potential, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
I think that's fair. And I know that there's that dispute going on about the Big Ten and this investment firm or whatever. And, USC and Michigan are not on board and people are saying, well, then just go independent. easier said than done.
It's not that
because
easy.
the last team that tried to go from a conference to independence is now back in a conference. And that's the BYU Cougars, who are very vocal on X over the past couple of weeks. Independence isn't easy. They couldn't fill a schedule. Notre Dame is different. They've got teams lining up to fill their schedule. It's why they've got Auburn, Alabama, Texas. You got all
Clemson.
these. Yeah, Clemson, a 12-year deal.
Auburn.
You got all these teams that you've got deals with now who all want to play Notre Dame. BYU didn't have that. Now, USC and Michigan are bigger brands, right? Not bigger than Notre Dame, but bigger brands nationally. They could potentially do the independent thing, but they'd have to be all in on it. That's the thing. You got to be all in on it, and you've got to be okay with the fact that you're not going to get that TV money. Where are you going to get a TV deal just for you? Does that exist for you?
That's
right
what
now?
Texas tried to do with the Longhorn Network. That didn't go
work.
well.
Did not work. That was just an abject failure.
Yeah, so, it's like there's not enough networks to go around at the end of the day, you know? Like even if and that's assuming that they'd want to take you in, you know? It's
exactly.
Like NBC doesn't air football. I mean, okay, I need to take that. I need to walk that back a little bit. NBC isn't like ABC and ESPN.
Fair.
You know, like they can take on someone like Notre Dame, but like who's gonna pick someone up? The freaking CBS, you know, like is
Joe Allen says Netflix and Prime. That could be one.
I could see that.
I could see that too.
I could see that.
That's potential if somebody wants to go independent.
That's thinking outside of the box there a little bit.
I could see that happening. Because I think USC, one of the things about the USC Notre Dame, you know, rivalry and contract and all that is that they were thinking about, you know, doing this Netflix, whatever. So, I mean, they're in the conversation, I would say. But like I said, that would have to be a major shift in the way they do business for them to go independent. And it's in it. And I was very specific on using that word, business, because it is a business decision. And you'd have to be all in on going independent. You'd have to have a TV contract in your back pocket that you're just getting ready to sign. You would have to, you know, be ready to roll with all of these different things, and you'd have to be all in. So I don't see them making that kind of a move, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And I believe their grant of rights deal for the Big Ten is like a decade out. So, you know, because they just signed that big deal, and so they got all kinds of money from the TV deal and all that. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So, but I would be shocked if that was the case, Jess. All right, we are going to take a quick break for the top of the hour. We'll have more when we come back on Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat with IrishBreakdown.com. We'll be back with rapid fire on the other side of the break. Welcome back to Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, along with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Vince D'Addario. That is Jesse Stiers. And we are on until 6:40. We have a hard out at 6:40 because Sean Stiers will be on at 6:45 with Notre Dame women's basketball as they take on the Akron Zips. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock, pregame at 6:45. And if you are not within the listening region of WSBT, which is where that game can be found on the radio dial, then you can check out the Odyssey app, AUDACY, on your tablet, your phone, your computer, wherever you get your app listening services. And then you can listen to Notre Dame women's basketball on that. So here we go. All right. It's after 6. You know what that means, Jesse Stiers. That's right. It's time for rapid fire, baby. I don't know. That was that was a visual. It was not that was not an audio, but that's okay. All right. So we've got a bunch of rapid fire questions, just spanning all of the area here, and we'll see how far we can get with them. And if anybody has a rapid fire question, you can throw it in the chat. Maybe we'll throw it up there. We'll see how it goes. But we're gonna lead off with a little NFL talk. The Giants have relieved Brian Daboll of his duties earlier this week. Who is more likely to become the next head coach of the Giants, Mike McCarthy or Marcus Freeman?
Yeah, Vince. So I saw earlier today that, inside the Giants kind of ownership and GM circles, they think very highly of Marcus Freeman. Whether or not Marcus Freeman thinks highly of the Giants, I don't know.
Right.
I've always stood on, I don't think Marcus Freeman wants to be an NFL coach, to be honest with you. I think he cherishes kind of that developmental, college, working with guys between 18 and 22 years old, that sort of thing. So I don't know how much NFL really appeals to him. And I don't know, outside of maybe one or two other college positions, what might appeal to him. So I definitely have to go with Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy makes more sense in this situation. And I hope they do it because I would love for the Cowboys to beat Mike McCarthy 2 times per season.
Oh, wow. You're not a fan, huh?
Not a fan.
Because of his tenure?
He underachieved a lot.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't believe that Marcus Freeman is the kind of person that is going to walk away from Notre Dame at this point with unfinished business. I just don't see that being the case. I think that he wants to win a national championship at Notre Dame. I think that is his number one goal. Why wouldn't it be? And I just don't see him taking off before he reaches that goal. The only job that would worry me about Marcus Freeman leaving is obviously Ohio State. I don't think that New York is the spot for him. I don't, maybe he does have NFL aspirations. He and I have never had that conversation.
What the heck, Vince?
Because we've never had a conversation at all. And so I just don't see that being the case. Obviously his oldest son just literally today signed to go to Cornell. And that's obviously on the East Coast. That's some place, maybe he wants to be closer to his son. I don't know. You could throw that out there if you wanted to. But he has 5 other kids, too, that are all climbing the ranks of childhood. And I don't know that he's ready to uproot them at the moment because I think they're all pretty happy over here in the Michiana area. So, I don't see it being Marcus Freeman. So if that's not the case, if I think that's sitting at 0%, then I think Mike McCarthy is now the leader in the clubhouse of the two. And I'm sure that the Giants will screw this up. So, of course, they're going to pick Mike McCarthy. Right, Jess? I mean, that just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if the Giants want to continue this constant cycle of purgatory, they'll just hire Mike McCarthy and keep doing the circle or, cycle of
mediocrity.
Yeah. But
and I think that might be pushing it, too, if we say mediocrity.
Ever since Eli Manning retired, it has been complete mediocrity. But it's hard for me to make fun of the Giants because you know what they've accomplished in my lifetime, Vince? Some Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good point. How about this one here from Randall McMurphy?
Oof.
BK would be great in New York.
I don't think I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. I don't think NFL players would respect Brian Kelly.
Oh, there's no chance. Doesn't mean he won't get hired.
That's true.
Can you? I can
like grown men, you know what I mean? Like
great.
That would be a big ego check for Brian Kelly,
especially if you've got any Notre Dame or LSU alums on the roster who he pretty much shunned when he was at both of those places. So that wouldn't go over very well either. But I could see him using just his political, I could see him in New York for sure. I could see it.
Should that lead us into our next question?
Oh, it could definitely lead us into our next question, because our next question is also an NFL question. All right, so here we go. Are you aware of Chicago Bears head coach Ben Johnson's, quote, good, better, best thing that he does in the locker room after wins? So I'm going to play it for you, and you can tell me what you think. Here we go. Come on. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Good gets better. You better get better. Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3. Woo! So are you aware that he does that in the locker room?
No, I was not aware of it. Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboys coach, does something similar but different. They kind of go over like the best plays from the game, and everyone gets all fired up and that sort of thing. I wasn't aware of it, but I love it. Anytime you can get everyone to kind of come together and cheer like that,
yeah,
I think that means you got control of the locker room, and I think it shows that guys respect you as a coach at the end of the day.
Winning certainly helps, and
winning definitely helps. Yes,
they're doing that, and that's big. And he's a young guy, and he's got all the X's and O's in his head for offensively, and he does the trick plays, and all of these different things. And I think he has at this moment won the locker room. Now, obviously, that
has he won you, Vince?
Week to week thing as a head coach. Yes, the quarterback hasn't won me, but the head coach has. Is that fair?
Are you happier this year with the Bears?
I mean, it's always nice to see the Bears win, but it's like I kind of wanted him to lose so that they'd go find a different quarterback. I'm not going to lie. That's how petty I am. That is the pettiness that is me. So, but I mean, it's always nice to see the Bears win, and they're winning like the way that they're winning is something else too. I mean, last second and all these different things, but
but I think that's a testament to the head coach. You win close games because of the head coach.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. All right, so in honor of the good, better, best from Ben Johnson, Levy's Restaurants, which has a concession stand at the Bears games, okay? They've come up with a good, better, best slider trio, okay? So the good is a cheeseburger with Levy's secret sauce. Better is braised short rib with pickled red onion. And best is seared beef tenderloin with garlic herb butter. So, of these three, which would you consider to be the best?
Oh, this is a tough question, Vince. The thing is, though, like when I think of going to a game, a sporting event, I don't think of I need to find the braised short rib. I need to find the seared beef tenderloin. So this might rock the boat here a little bit. Best for me just has to be a good old cheeseburger with the secret sauce. Like, okay, if I'm going to a sporting event, again, I'm not a big, I need to go find all these crazy concessions and all that stuff. And also, I don't like to eat heavy meals during a game, right? And so beef tenderloin, braised short rib, they just kind of sound heavy. So my good would be the braised short rib, my better would be the beef tenderloin, and my best would be the cheeseburger.
That's fair. That is super fair, man. I will tell you that, because normally I am just a cheeseburger guy myself. And if I'm going to get a cheeseburger at a sporting event, I don't want it to be all like drippy and, all of those things. You know what I mean? Like
a greasy, sloppy,
yeah.
Got to roll your sleeves up.
And I don't know what kind of cheeseburger that Levy's is making, or Levy's. I apologize to the people there if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. And I'm curious as to what their secret sauce is. I'm not going to lie. I'd like to know what that is.
Probably like a Big Mac sauce or something.
That's what I was thinking. That's usually what the secret sauce is, it seems like, on burgers. Now, if I'm not at the sporting event, though, I'm going with the seared beef tenderloin with the garlic herb butter.
Oh, for sure. The scenery in this and where we're having this completely changes the situation.
Makes a huge difference. Yes, agreed. 100%. So for the in interest of the question, I'm going to go with the seared beef tenderloin with garlic herb butter. But my better, like the middle one, is going to be the cheeseburger with the Levy's secret sauce, because I don't like pickled red onions. So they're going to be at the bottom of the list for me.
Of course you don't like pickled red onion.
I don't like onion. I mean, pickles, like the pickled, I know pickled isn't pickles.
Right.
But I don't like pickled stuff in general.
Do you like pickles?
No, God, no.
Same. I think that might be one of the few things that you and I actually can mutually agree on. And I feel like that is a minority thing. I feel like most people love pickles.
Oh, my family, most of them like pickles. There are a couple of my children that are smart and don't.
Any of them torment you with pickles?
Oh, all the time. All the time. And it's mean. It's mean.
Now I know how to get to Vince.
Man, I'm
just
not
whip out a jar of pickles.
But
you like cucumber?
No, not really. I mean, I don't mind like maybe a fresh cucumber on my salad or something like that. Right. Like I could go with that as long as it's got a little ranch on it or something, that kind of a thing. But I'm not like taking a cucumber and just taking a big old bite out of it. That's definitely not me. So, but I applaud Levy's restaurant for like buying into the whole good, better, best thing. I mean, that's smart. That's advertising, baby. They're thinking. All right, here we go. Real simple. And we've kind of talked about him a little bit already. Buy or sell Brian Kelly ever coaching again?
I'm going to go buy, but I don't see it in the immediate future. I think he's going to wait for all this to settle. He's going to collect his money. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you see Brian Kelly kind of patch up his image a little bit, maybe become a guy who does becomes an analyst for a year, that coach analyst that you see maybe for a year or two. And again, he's collecting his money from LSU, probably collecting money from being on TV, kind of seeing how this whole, coaching with NIL and the transfer portal all shakes out. So I think he's going to coach again, but I don't think he's going to jump right back into it per se.
I think he's definitely, I absolutely buy that he's going to coach again. And I would say if I was going to go like over under 1.5 years from now, I'm going to take the under, because I think that.
Do you think he's a head coach of a team next season?
I think
that's my big
possible.
Question.
I think it's definitely possible, but I also think a lot of it rides on this lawsuit that he just filed too.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he's got to let that shake out. I think he needs to build back up his image here a little bit, take it easy for maybe a year, and then get back into it. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he coaches next year, but I think he does the year after.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I think he could be an analyst or just do nothing for a year, just like
he's got the money. He's got the money to do nothing.
100%. And like he normally does when he's coaching, he just do nothing. I could see that for a year, and then I could see him taking a job for the 27 season for sure. I could definitely see that, but we'll see. It might. There's a lot of open jobs though, man. Like that's the thing. There's a lot of big name jobs out there, and I don't think there's a lot of big name coaches. And I still think there are people out there that think BK is the answer. We'll see.
Is he the answer at Penn State?
He could be. He's an East Coast guy.
Is that better for him than LSU?
It's a better fit for him for sure. Okay. He never fit down there.
I guess, do you think he goes Big Ten or SEC, or do you think he goes smaller than that?
I don't think he'll ever go smaller. I think he could.
You think at this point he thinks highly enough of himself? He's made it this far.
Yes.
I'm going to take on a job that I think is fit for me, not the other way around.
So Luke Fickell got, the public he will be coaching in 26, at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on that job right
That's
there.
what I think he'd be a perfect fit at a school like Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Like a mid-level Big Ten school that he could boost up to being an 8-9.
And that would be a win for their fan base.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
He doesn't need to be at a place where he needs to win 9 or 10 every year.
I could see him in like at a Wisconsin, at a Michigan State, those kinds of schools.
Michigan State would be a really good fit for him because they need to rebuild bad.
I could see those being options. I really could. And then once Michigan State rolls back onto Notre Dame's schedule, that's when the fun really begins. So just putting that out there as well. All right, let's see here. You know what? Let's take a quick break because we are at the 6:25-ish mark, and this seems like a good spot. So we'll take a break. We'll have more when we come back on Budweiser's weekday sports beat with IrishBreakdown.com. We'll be back after the break to kind of wrap this sucker up. We'll see you then. Welcome back to Budweiser's Weekday Sportsbeat along with IrishBreakdown.com. Remember, Notre Dame is at Pittsburgh this Saturday at 12 o'clock, and you'll hear the radio call right here on Sports Radio WSBT. The Game Day Show is live from 8 to 11 Eastern Time. Join Tim Grau, Jim Irizarry, Eric Hansen, and Tyler Horka, as well as other guests. Before the Irish take on the Panthers this Saturday, this week's guests are Terry Hanratty and Trevor Ruland. So tune in for the Game Day Show again this Saturday from 8 to 11 Eastern Time, only on Sports Radio WSBT and the Sports Radio WSBT app. Jesse, are you happy or unhappy that the game is at noon?
Oh, I am absolutely elated, Vince.
Ooh, okay.
Originally, didn't know how to feel about it, and I was a little upset, but I think I've explained this before. With the noon kick, we can leave at probably like 6 or 7 in the morning, get there around 9-ish, tailgate until noon. Game will go until about 4 p.m., and then we can drive home. Basically, the noon kick means we do not need a hotel in any capacity. So I love that.
That's a really solid point. You're saving money on the hotel. You sleep in your own bed.
Round trip.
Absolutely.
All in one day.
Yeah. How far is it from where you are?
Like 2 hours and 5 minutes. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's such an easier drive to go to Pittsburgh than it is South Bend. So it was a no-brainer. And like I said, I got tickets, Vince, on the 50-yard line, like 20 rows up for like $150 a pop. Really not that bad. I think we found a student that like didn't realize the gravity of the game. And this was before game day was announced, before Pitt was ranked, all that stuff. We were looking, we could resell our tickets for like $700 a pop if we wanted to.
Woo!
Yeah.
Man.
But I'm a loyal. I don't do that. I'm not flipping these tickets.
That's what I'm talking about. Speaking of your loyalty to the Irish, there is a question for you here. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is from ND Forever 72. Where'd you get that lid, Jesse?
A couple people I seen in the chat have given me a couple compliments. I appreciate it. Vince, I have a lot of hats. I love my hats. I got this, I believe it was on the Notre Dame bookstore last year. So I don't know if they still have it. It might be discontinued at this point, but it's one of my favorites. Simple. I love the all green, and then I love the shamrock with the Notre Dame right in the middle.
Love that. It's a good looking cap. Like that's one that I would be absolutely on board with Notre Dame baseball wearing.
Ooh, could you imagine if they wore these? That would be nice.
That would be.
The thing is it's unfortunate because Notre Dame has the Under Armour deal, and Under Armour makes hats. This is a new era hat. So
yeah. Still, they could steal that.
They could figure out a way to get it done.
They could figure it out. All right, we got a few minutes left, so let's get to a few more questions. The FanDuel Sportsbook Twitter account posted this weekend asking if Colorado should fire Deion Sanders, who's in his 3rd season as the head coach of the Buffaloes. Fair or foul on Deion getting the boot?
No matter what you think of Deion, I think this is 100% foul. They obviously had a good amount of roster turnover this last season. And the man is coming off
every season, Jesse.
Yeah, but the man is coming off some serious health complications. And he very easily, before the season, could have been like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this year off. My body needs it. Like, I respect Deion Sanders, actually, for going out there. His son is gone. Both of his sons are gone. I don't think Colorado had as good of an outlook for this season as maybe his first two. He overcame the cancer in the offseason. Yeah. I find it respectable that he laced it back up and said, you know what, I am going to coach this season.
He could have also very easily said, I'm going to move to Cleveland and just follow my son around all the time, which I half expected to happen, but it did not. And so I give him a lot of credit. I believe, now I haven't been following Colorado football all that closely, I'll be honest, but I believe he's starting a true freshman quarterback. You're going to take some lumps when you're doing that. They retired his kids' numbers and they also lost Hunter. So, you got some turnover going here. You've got a new look to the old Buffaloes. So you got to give him some time. I mean, he's still at Colorado. Give him some time. If he's going to turn the roster over every year, that is something I wouldn't necessarily agree with. You got to start building it up from the high school ranks and all that kind of stuff. But, at the same time, this is completely foul. Like, if he wants to be there right now, he has brought in so much money to Colorado, like so much money, so many eyeballs that you cannot get rid of him right now. You can't. You absolutely cannot. So I don't know what FanDuel. It feels a little clicky.
I think it was a little like, who is FanDuel to post that?
Yeah, right. Seriously,
who are you? Like, I don't know. I would be mad if I were like Dion's, reps or whatever. Like, you need to take that down.
You're like, what are you doing? Agreed. No, I agree. All right, how about a little Irish? It's blank that Notre Dame has the number 9 scoring offense and the number 17 scoring defense after 8 games.
It's surprising, Vince. And the reason why I have to say surprising is we knew the offense would be good, but did we really think CJ Carr would be this good, this quickly, and that we could not have to rely solely on the run game? I don't think you can say that. And then also it's surprising because did we really think after watching the first couple games of this season that the defense led by Chris Ash would dwindle its way down all the way to the number 17 scoring defense? I dropped a stat on my dad yesterday. I don't know if you know this. Notre Dame defense hasn't given up a fourth quarter point in 6 straight games.
Wow. I did not know that stat.
That's a stat.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. And that pretty much coincides with their winning streak.
Correct. Crazy what happens when you play good complementary football on both sides.
Yeah, no doubt.
But it's a big surprise, Vince, because I didn't think CJ Carr would be this good this early, and I didn't think the defense would rebound as hard as it did after starting that poorly to begin the season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I that's absolutely accurate. I was going to say surprising as well because I didn't think the defense was playing that well overall for the entire season. Like, yes, they're playing well now. There's no doubt about it. But, you gave up, 41 to Texas A&M. You've given up some points. And so to be ranked in the top 20 at that point, with the way things started and the way things were going and the crying and the gnashing of teeth over what the defense was doing early on in the season, the fact that they're ranked positively in any way defensively is surprising, but they've also been playing very, very well over the last, 6 games. And I would say 5.5 games. They've been playing very, very well. And so those numbers have started to come down, and now the defense is getting what they need. And, and moving forward, if they can continue doing what they're doing, they should be 3-0 over the last 3 games of the season as well. So I love the fact that Notre Dame is doing what they're doing defensively and offensively, because I also feel like the offense isn't getting enough publicity as well, Jesse. But, it is what it is.
That's okay. That'll be our little best kept secret.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, hopefully they put up some big numbers on old Narduzzi this weekend, Saturday at noon. Jesse and I will be back tomorrow as well. We'll have some whiteboard. We'll have some quotes from Marcus Freeman's press conference and much, much more. Because, of course, we'll also have rapid fire as well. You're going to want to tune into WSBT for the noon kickoff for to defeat Pat Narduzzi and when Notre Dame plays Pittsburgh. And make sure you also stay tuned tonight because the Notre Dame women's basketball team is playing against the Akron Zips. And you'll hear it right here on WSBT. Sean Steyer has the call. Pregame show, 6:45. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow.